Bisexual people who have dated both genders, what are some notable differences you've learned about dating both women and men?
They both think their signals are clear. They are not.
Both genders are bad at communicating, but in completely different ways. Men are more likely to not tell you information that would be important to you simply because they don't deem it important. They gave you the important information. If you can't understand it, then you're either trying to complicate the issue or you're not listening to them. Women are more likely to not tell you information important to them because they see it as obvious. If they have to tell you the issue, then you're not paying attention to them and the issue at hand, or you're not as invested in the relationship as they are.
Bifem. Women like snacks and will usually bring/have snacks. Men also like snacks, but usually won't have them ready. They're more likely to say let's go get snacks.
I'm a bisexual man. I find the dynamics of trust to be vastly different between my male and female companions. Men have been quicker to trust me, but became more nervous over time. Women needed more time to build that trust, but once it was there, it was solid. I've generally thought of that as not being inherent to their gender and instead tied to how they relate to my maleness. In the same-sex relationships, there's a lot more risk involved because of societal heteronormativity. There's the initial pressure to be out and proud that prompts these men to engage in their relationships with passion, but then there's a worry that the relationship will fail because of the toxic aspect of queer pride. With the women, there's a general fear of violence from men, so there's more caution early on.
So keep in mind that this is my own experience, and is in no way meant to apply to everyone. I'm a bi male. Non-sexually, men are much more straightforward in almost every way. Everything from what they want to eat, to whether or not they're interested in you. Women rely much more on cues or nonverbal communication. In my experience, gay men have been the least receptive to the fact that I'm bi. Straight women tend to be hesitant, but if they've already shown interest in me, they usually are still interested after I tell them I'm bi. Sexually, with men it's about finishing. With women it's about the journey. With men, I've had more than one occasion where we're playing video games and someone starts getting frisky. We pause, get each other off, and are back to playing games in like 10 minutes. Women, on the other hand, tends to like getting frisky, then foreplay, then sex, then winding down. It's much easier to find a man to be with than a woman, at least for me. I'm below average in the looks department, like a 3, maybe a 4 on a good day. The women who are interested in me tend to be around there, and I've never had an objectively hot one show interest in me. While most of the men I've been with also fall somewhere around there, I've slept with a couple of genuinely hot guys. Muscular, tanned, well endowed. There's a certain set of guys that really like chubby guys, and apparently I fit the bill for them. Everyone likes cuddles though.
I don't have large enough sample sizes to make generalizations about entire genders. What I can talk about is myself. So, what I can say is that after having 4 boyfriends, my ability to identify and avoid dangerous men was vastly improved, and my ability to identify and avoid dangerous women was apparently not particularly improved at all. I was very attuned to red flags involving sexism and completely unprepared for the fact that a woman who majored in women's studies could perfectly well destroy years or decades of my life with no sexism necessary at all.
Dating a man feels like one of your male best friends decided he likes dick one day. Dating women feels softer, and even though common interests are there, there's more of that listening to their interests because they like it and you're interested in them and not because you care about the subject at hand. They both still have that same tenderness and butterfly feeling. That's been my experience so far anyways.
One thing I noticed back when I was dating was that women have a lot more baggage when it comes to physical intimacy. Women go through a lot, they have tons of pressures put on them, many have had negative sexual experiences. It's, well, just more complicated. The guys I dated were frankly much more direct and more simplistic about it. I'm not saying either of these descriptions apply to all women or men, but that was my experience. With guys it was like, hey, wanna make out? And just sort of that simple.
It's much harder to find a girl who wants to date you than a guy if you're a girl. Either you keep finding straight women, or you both are afraid of being too forward and no one makes the first move. Guys are way less shy about it. But since it's so much harder to get a girlfriend, the relationships with women tend to last longer, because we wouldn't have gotten together if we weren't pretty sure we were compatible. Other than that, there's not a huge difference. Individual people are more unique than men are from women, if that makes sense. But I will say I've never had to fight with or teach a woman why something that happened to me was misogynistic. It's more likely that she's experienced something similar.
The women I dated were on top of their lives but emotionally all over the place. The men were emotionally more solid but their laundry was everywhere.
This probably isn't an accurate representation, but it has at least been my experience. When dating a man, he is very okay with me being bisexual. When dating a woman, it constantly comes up that I'm actually straight or just going to leave her or her guy. It is really annoying to have someone try to completely invalidate your feelings for them because of your dating history. Yes, I've dated more men. I didn't realize until I had been dating for several years that dating women was a viable option.
This is all based on my own experiences and in no way should be read as sincere and committed observations that apply to everyone. Everywhere. I find men to be more romantic and more interested in monogamy. Women are easier to talk to and easier to argue with and then be able to walk back from the arguments sooner. Men are more forward, at least initially. Two girls could have a crush on each other for 10 years and never work up the nerve to mention it. Men usually want to hammer out plans towards the end of a date, for the next date. But women are usually more go with the flow, let's see what happens. Oh, and girls are much better at handling rejection and boundaries. Actually, I've had incidents here and there that were pretty awful from girls, but much more often, men are really bad at rejections on any level.
The whole base of the relationship is pretty different. Most gay men are into this whole dominate versus submissive thing and it's a lot of their life, personality. With women it's more about just being together, I would say. My personal experiences I'm sure are very different from others, but my most notable difference I've realized is that men are going to enjoy doing manly-ish things together, but it's a lot of compromise with women. Doing what they want and them doing what you want. It's a lot less complicated with men if I'm being extremely honest.
It's nice to see that different commenters have opposite observations, tilde proving tilde showing that there are few actual differences between genders. Edit, my anecdote is far from scientific.
I'm a bi woman. There's not much difference, in my experience. I've dated enough personalities to dismantle virtually any stereotype about gender lol. The most romantic and clingy were guys, the most aloof was a woman. People are just so different. Dating women does come with the queer element though, where you have awkwardness over who to be out to. I've been lucky enough to mostly steer clear of biphobia, but I did briefly date a girl who I think just wanted to be queer because that was her idea of herself, for activist reasons or something. But I am skeptical if she was actually queer. Needless to say, that didn't last. Conversely, when I date guys, I sometimes get anxious about being perceived as straight or gay until she found a dude. Not that what people think matters, but it's funny. When I date women I worry about homophobia, when I date guys, I worry about being erased. Oh, small difference, I always insist on splitting the bill, which is pretty typical for same-sex dating. I think sometimes guys think that means I don't like them.
Men are like ooh and women are like ah.
Bisexual lady here. Men have a tendency to assume that you're looking for a more serious relationship than they are, even if you explicitly say otherwise. And are suckers for cuddles. Women like kissing more.
Girls are soft.
Both men and women have beards, just in different places.
May your day be filled with joy and happiness. And please remember to like, share, and subscribe for more quality content every day.